Hey guys, I'm Dr. BJ Hardick. I want to answer for you a very, very common question that I get, which is people asking me all the time how they can gain healthy weight following a healthy nutrition plan. Meaning people oftentimes know there's ways to lose weight, but then people want to say, well, how do I actually gain weight, pack on muscle, or not be underweight? And there's typically, there's four very important things to consider. Someone could, in fact, be clinically underweight. The next thing is someone might just want to put on some weight. They want to, they want to bulk up. They want to look a little bit better. You can take that extremes. You'll get people that want to put on a lot of weight that shouldn't even be there in terms of muscle, bodybuilding, that type of thing, which we can talk about the safety of. And then lastly, we also have people that are just concerned that they've lost too much weight because they've followed too clean of a diet for too long. So I want to address the first one first. People do need to be concerned. If they have lost too much weight, there are in fact certain illnesses that can cause someone to become clinically underweight. And that could mean they are dehydrated, they've lost too much muscle mass, or many other things. And it's important that someone would actually go through the list and look at these possibilities with their doctor. Now, obviously, if you're working with a holistic practitioner, they're going to take a lot different approach than a conventional medical doctor. But some of the instances that I know that absolutely can cause someone to become underweight would be things like hyperthyroidism, SIBO, which is small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, intestinal permeability, where somebody's actually not absorbing the nutrients that they should, autoimmune diseases, chronic just infections that actually affect the GI and therefore somebody's ability to absorb nutrients, type 1 diabetes, certainly there can be neurological issues like multiple sclerosis or epilepsy, and also toxicity as well. I mean, I've certainly seen a lot of people that are dealing with severe toxicity issues find themselves underweight, different from the people that end up overweight when they're dealing with toxicity. So again, working with a holistic doctor or a maximized living doctor or a wellness chiropractor, someone who can help you get to the root cause of your problem is best there if you suspect that you're dealing with one of those issues. But you know what, that's the minority. Most of the time I get people saying to me, you know what, I just want to get a little bit bigger. And there's a couple things to consider. You know, the first thing is we want to do this in a safe and healthy way. I am not a fan of just throwing more calories in just for the sake of packing on more muscle mass. Now, if someone wants to do it, there's some smart ways to do it. Definitely, if you're following the advanced nutrition plan, which is all out of Maximized Living Nutrition Plans, and again, the summary is on my blog as well, you can start to add in some of the God-made foods, some of the healthier starches, some of the things like banana, sweet potato, root vegetables, that type of thing. I would advise adding these in more morning and midday as opposed to end of the day, because you're not going to burn those off while you're in your sleep. You can add those in. I mean, there's, obviously someone could start adding a banana to their smoothie instead of going berries only. But it is key that if you're adding more calories in, because they're, oftentimes we talk about the fact that, it's not just calories that cause you to gain or lose weight, it's your hormones. But no, there's a role of calories. So if you want to start packing in more calories, you can do it that way, but make sure it is good, clean food. And you also really need to make sure that you're working out while all this is going on, because if you're not working out, all that extra, especially the carbs, they're just going to turn into fat. Obviously, the concerns when people want to get overly big, when somebody wants to get giant muscles, there are ways to do it. I mean, somebody could start having a lot of dairy and a lot of whey protein, but you really do need to think about what kind of weight your joints are carrying long term, and that's why I really, really urge people to look at what happens to people sometimes if they pack on a lot of their weight, especially in their 20s or their 30s. You have to look at what happens to it sometimes when you're 40 or 50. It usually doesn't look all that good. So you really need to think about what your long-term consequences are of getting overly big. But really, the real issue is this. I'm a doctor of chiropractic, as is my father. When my father went to school, he was always taught that the average male body would be 150 pounds. Nowadays, the average is closer to 175 pounds. You know what? We didn't change that much as far as our genetics are concerned within 25 years. The problem is everybody has gotten a lot bigger. And in my experience, typically when people actually start to get into their best shape and they actually start to get closer to their ideal size, you know what? You're gonna have relatives saying to you, you look too small, you look sick, are you okay? When the reality is, we're actually just getting back oftentimes to the size that we're supposed to be in the first place. And that's a lot more consistent with the chiropractic philosophy, which is one to apply the proper principles in your life and let your body find its best possible set point instead of forcing it to become a certain size, whether it's high or low. So I hope these tips have helped you. Be sure to check out the complete article on drhardick.com. And if you have any questions, make sure you leave them in the comments below. Blend up the avocados, we blend up limes, And again, literally, there's no sugar, there's no damaged fats in this. Try this out. This is a key
Okay,
lime
I'll
pie.
give it a shot. Oh, you know, it's so good.
So whoever told you that this can't be done after a certain age, you know, we're seeing success stories into their 60s, 70s. We've got some in their 80s. They're not here as well. It's really just phenomenal, you know. So you probably, I mean, it could have been easy been told for many years, hey, once you pass a certain level, your hormones are all settled and you can't lose weight. Raise your hand if you've heard this before. Well,